Hello, guys. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, depending where you're streaming from. My name is Cinetic Films and Cinematic Films, also my grading account. And today I'll be showing you how I grade my movies, or rather, movie scene. As you can see on this screen, this is the before and after, and I shot this movie with Sony. So shot on S-Log 3. So in case you're meeting this channel for the first time, you can do where to subscribe, like and share, because I'll be going live and dropping different updates on how you can enhance your color grading skill. So first of all, I'm going to show you how I was able to achieve this and how to also do some other things like color separation, changing the background color, and some other little things. So stay to the end and enjoy. So first of all, I'm going to clear this. I always tell people who are colorists that one of the best way to grade your footage is know the issue, know the problem, know what you're not doing right, then correct it. So first of all, I'm going to create my node. So node is like different column of adjustments or layer. Just like in Premiere Pro, we have what we call lumetri. So you do your adjustments on lumetri. So it's just the same thing like this one. First thing I'm going to do, I like creating extra nodes so that I can come back here and do my extra adjustments. And again, there are different ways you can do this, but I'm not going to do the basic today. I'm not going to do the basic today. So I like doing my color separation, like my color correction first before color separation. And when I'm applying my color correction, I like doing it at the end of the node, like the last one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in my contrast. Pull in my contrast. You can see my before and after. You can see my before and after. So pulling my contrast, use pivots to balance it. Use pivot to balance it. Then I'm going to add another node. So I'm going to use this node to do my CST, color space transform. I'll be doing a specific special video pointing on this CST. So CST is just like a color space that you use in converting your S-Log or any of your log footage. So I'll look for the camera which was shot in S-Log 3. Then look for Are you seeing the transformation? So let me just on undo the initial this thing I did, which is the contrast. So then next next is color space, output color space. It's just like this thing sounds like input. Like you input, you have to tell DaVinci the camera you used in a kind of more like the camera and the color science. Maybe S log 3, S log 2, or black magic, red. It depends. You have to tell Black Magic. You have to tell Black Magic, DaVinci Black Magic software that okay, I made use of so and so camera. So you have to impute that camera there. Then next thing is output. Then you output it to be red 709. It's just like converting from S log to red 709. So that is exactly what just happened here. So when you impute on your when you put your S log 3, the output we are converting to the 709. You select the 709. Then gamma, I normally make use of gamma 2.2. Are you seeing? What I just did is that I converted this image from red 709, from S log 3 to red 709. I just converted it because you cannot successfully grade well without making this conversion. And mind you, this is not just the basic, because color space transform, which is referred as CST, is like more of the advanced parts you get. So the first thing you need to learn when you're dealing with any of these high-end cinematic cameras is how to convert from their log to red 709, because most of this, our phone, our laptop, our TV, our let's say online space, they play on red 709. They use a color space which is red 709. Some of the laptops and some of the TV, they use S log, S sRGB, sRGB. They make use of sRGB. So you just need to do the general one, which is RGB. So what I'm going to do now is just watch the skin, and whenever you're grading, you have to observe the skin tone to know, like, if it's a kind of not giving you the actual skin tone, or it's giving you the actual skin tone. Let's say someone, maybe it's a kind of looking over warm, too warm, or too cold. Then you have to just adjust it by adjusting your temperature and adjusting your tint. So I'm going to now highlight my contrast. Then I can now adjust the contrast. So let me show you another thing that is important for you to take note of. If you look at this scope, let me just look at the scope. I'm turning off this and I'm turning off my CST. Are you noticing anything on the graph? You notice that this information on this parade scope. Okay, I'm making use of parade scope. We have waveform, we have vector scope, we have histogram, and so on and so forth. But the ones you should take note of, which I'll be using soon, is this parade and this vector scope. I use this vector scope to fix my white balance, like the skin tone, whether it's over warm or too cold. I use vector scope to fix it. So one thing you need to notice when you're getting an information like this, you should know that your your the information on your footage is a kind of flat. So just take a look at what happens when I drop the CST. I now see that the information below is almost touching the zero. Then when I put in my contrast, it's touching. So you don't need to allow this information touch the zero because it will a kind of affect the black. Are you not seeing the black? Like I'm crushing the black. So all I need to do is reduce. Are you seeing? So you allow it to like as if it's almost touching. So this almost touching, but don't allow it past that line, which is this zero. So this is my contrast. Removing. Then the next thing I do is I adjust the exposure by going to color wheels and I go to my lift. Then when I go to my lift, still looking at my parade scope, the difference between color wheels and log wheel. Color wheels is more like when you adjust your shadow. Lift is referred as shadow. When you adjust your shadow, it affects everything, both the gamma and gain. Let me show you. Imagine I'm adjusting the shadow. Are you not seeing that is affecting my gamma and gain, and which is my midtone and my highlight? Is affecting my highlight. Are you see? But when I come to log and adjust the shadow, are you not seeing the difference? It's only affecting my shadow and my highlight is intact. Can you see the difference? My highlight is just intact. So I just have to undo this, and because I just want to make use of the color wheels, not the log wheel. So like slightly adjust, still looking at your scope, which is your parade. Then come to your gamma, increase. Are you seeing what is happening? You raise it. Are you seeing? See, just watch. Watch at my scope. Are you seeing? Then the next thing is gain. Raise your gain. Then your offset, you have to reduce it. Reduce the offset. Step it down. So take a look at what we just did. Are you noticing it? Then let me take this down a bit. That's fine. Then I can now apply my saturation a bit. I can now apply my saturation. So this is my saturation. Then I'm going to add another node for my white balance. So I was telling you guys that I use vector scope in adjusting the skin. So you can see this line here. This line is where the skin tone is representing the skin tone. So I zoom in, then I go to my window, grab the circle, reduce it, then look for the skin, place it there, then click on my highlights. So as you can see, I'm only selecting the skin. So look at my vector scope. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing the information? So I'm going to slightly adjust it to touch the line. To touch the line. Then I'll clear it. I'll select. So this is before and after. So I just recover the skin. Let me reduce it a bit. I just recovered the skin actual color. So the next thing I'm going to do, let me show that I will step the blue down a bit. Okay. So we're good. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another node. So I'm going to start by doing my separation. Let me do some separation. Like, one thing I do tell people is no matter how you're a kind of, if you're shooting a project now, or if you're shooting a project, if you're opportune to be the colorist and you are in that location, one thing you need to kind of let them know is to try to separate the subject from the background with light, and also they should try to be mindful of what the subject is wearing in order not to a kind of merge with the background, because it's just like the skin tone is orange, and let's say carton color, and if you're not using light to separate that exact color that matches the skin tone, it's going to be very difficult for you to do a color separation because you may end up selecting, maybe trying to do auto select on the HSL. You may end up selecting the skin. Let me just show you. Like for example, this is what we call HSL qualifier. And let's say this man here, the one behind him in the background, let's say this his skin tone is our background and I want to select this subject here. So imagine, let me on my highlights. So imagine trying to select the subject. Are you not seeing that I'm not just making selection, I'm not making the actual selection of the subject I want to be visible. I'm also selecting the subject behind. That's why, but I'm so lucky because as you can see, my background is green. So this is what happened to you when your background is matching the skin tone. So it's advisable, it's advised that you kind of try to use colors that are not matching your background, that are not matching your skin tone rather. So I'm going to be pulling this. I'm going to be pulling it by deselecting, cancel the highlights. So I want to be making I'm going to be making a selection for the background. I'm going to make a selection for the background. And when you talk about cinematic colors, you have to kind of try to do some kind of separation, like green, green background, blue background, dark background. When you use things like dark background, it gives you that room for you to get close to cinematic colors. So that you won't be imagine one of the shoots I witnessed my colleague, like I went to the location and the location, the whole walls were like white. And one thing with white is that if you don't take time based on the clothes they will be putting on, it's going to ruin your image. It will give you that a kind of more space for you to get a cinematic color. Not like it's not going to come out well. Oh. It will come out well, but it's going to just be there, like just nothing special about it. So your location is necessary, very necessary. When you're choosing your location, honestly, you need to be so mindful, so mindful of location. So your location. So I'm going to like show you how to change this green background. I'm going to show you how to change the green background by going to my HSL, then select. Be always on your highlights so that you see where your selection is going to. You can also pull, then just push it randomly. Are you not seeing? I just selected the green. So imagine if this background was not green and it's something like maybe a color matching the skin tone. How am I going to like select that? How? How on earth? I'll just end up suffering myself and I may not get an actual selection. I may not make the best selection. So once you've selected, you need to a kind of blur the edge for a smoother selection. And to do that, you need to make sure that your selection is accurate. So I have to go to denoise it, then blur the edges, just as I did here. Just as I did here. So the next thing I'm going to do is deselect. So before that, let me just create different nodes so that I'm going to do different selections. So I'm going to add parallel node, then add layer. So this is my green, which we just made a selection here just for the green. So let's say we want to change the green to blue. I'm just going to come here, go to hue, green. I see that I'm changing it. I see that I'm making it. But you need to select colors that are close. You need to select colors that are close. Let me see. I see. Colors that are closer to it. I see. Just change it to blue. So can you guys just see how I change the background? This is before and this is after. Before, after. But I don't think I want to change the background. Instead, I'll just adjust it a bit. Adjust it a bit. Right. There are many ways. I'm going to show you different ways of doing this. I'm going to show you different ways. I see. I'm just changing the background. I did something like this in one of my projects. I created for a client. I didn't like their background, so I changed it. So I'm looking for something that is close. Something that is close. So I had to even change the background. Okay. Something like this. Then I'll go to search versus Luma. I'm going to step it down a bit. Then I'll go to SAT versus SAT. I'm going to take it down. I don't want it to be too noticeable. I don't want it to be artificial, so I'm going to try as much as possible to keep it natural. To keep it natural. But the goal here is I want to step down the background. So something like this. So this is before and this is after. At least before and after. So let me kind of reduce it more. So before and after. So we are getting there. Let me just do some adjustments on my hue versus hue. So that's on my background. And next thing, I'm going to fix these highlights. And to fix these highlights, I'll be going to my window, select, like, make a selection, just the highlighted parts. Just the highlighted part. Increase the softness. increase the softness too. Then go to my tracker, then track it. Allow it to track. It's going to track like this. Then I'll head on to my HDR and my I'll go to the next my lights, step it down a bit. I can still use global, but I prefer highlight because it just affects only the highlights. So this is my before and this is my after. I see. Then I'm going to highlight just the clothes. I want to fix the clothes because I want to start doing separation. So I'll go to 3D, select, then highlight. Just the clothes. I want to make a good selection. Then I'm going to blur, then blur reduce. Then I'm going to make this selection because I want to make sure I'm highlighting just the clothes. I don't want it to go more than these spots. So then let's see. Then track. Allow it to track. Then I'm just going to adjust it. Go to my primary range, go to my offsets, adjust it. I'm trying to get the actual color. So this is for the clothes. Before and after. I think we're getting somewhere. We're getting to somewhere that is just very close. So this is the before and after, and this is the before and after for the clothes. I'm going to make a separate tutorial for this. So we are going to adjust his blue clothes, this subject here. We're going to adjust What you need to understand is why I don't recommend you using LUT is LUT has a way of like has a way of limiting you. It will just a kind of keep you in a place. To just keep you in a place. So I don't like using LUT. There are so many limitations when it comes to LUT. So the next thing you need to do is we are still going to make a selection, another node. Select, go to HSL, select this. So select the noise, then blur radius, then go to window, use this to select. Why I'm not using the circle is because I want to. Okay, I can still use the circle. Let me just use the circle. Let me use the circle so that to just focus on this particular area. At least limit it. Okay, let me confirm my selection once more. I want to get something accurate. So there's need for you to blur the radius, like some of this small noise when you make your selection. So I'm still going to track in case of any movement. In case of any movement, I'm good to go. One thing with separation is it gives you a better kind of way for you to pull in, reduce, adjust, and do some kind of deep grading. So I'm going to remove this. Then I'm going to adjust this. I would love to kind of darken just okay the highlights and the shadow. Adibin is just the shadow. I'll use log wheel and pull the shadow. Icing is just affecting the shadow part, but I want to darken the shadow and just highlight and midtone. So I'm going to go to color wheel, pull it just slightly down a little, maybe -1, not too much. Then I'm going to pull in my offsets. 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 So I'll still adjust my background because of the edge. Let's say I can even choose to reduce. Like slightly reduce it small. Then, as you can see, we are heading somewhere. This is before, after. So I'm going to add more layers. So I'm going to add more layers. So I'll be adjusting. I'll be adjusting the skin. At least the boat skin. For me to adjust the boat skin, I need to add another layer, something like this. So I'm going to adjust the skin. I'll adjust it separately. So let me have to make sure I'm selecting just his face. Just his face. Just it to suit his face. Then I have to denoise and blur edges. Blur edges. Then most importantly, track. This is just a basic way to do this based on the tracking and the separation, we still have advanced way of doing color separation. And for you to do that, it requires you having maybe from 8 gig dedicated graphics card. So let's adjust this is face. I'm going to brighten it up a bit. Can you see the difference? Increase contrast. Then increase contrast. Then go to log. Increase. Then I love reducing my saturation most times. Let's say 43, 5. Then we can now move to the next person. We can now move to the next person. Then highlight his face. Adjust to suit. Then go to HSL. Select. Then adjust. Adjust to. Then to noise. Low reduce. Now let's track it. Then deselect, increase, not too much, just slightly. We are going to correct this red. You see some kind of red color difference in color on his face. We are going to correct it by going to curve, then go to U versus SAT. Then I can make my selection. I can decide to widen it. Then the next selection, widen it. Then step it down. I see. Then for this, I can impute it manually. This before and after. Then my contrast. Let me adjust this. My contrast, as usual, reduce the saturation. Then we are moving. Then I can decide to take out just a bit. And this is the before and after. Then I can add my midtone. Then I'll add extra note for the man sitting behind. Just select HSL, select then use window to select. Then let's make the final adjustments. For the skin. Then you can decide to select just the skin and slightly move. Then remove the highlights, put shadow, not much, like a bit contrast. Then let's reduce the saturation. Then go to lock, midtone. So let's see the before and after. I think that kind of made it calmer. We are heading somewhere. So for this, we are going to clap for ourselves because we've done transformation from this to this, from this to this, and as you can see, is not easy to achieve. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is the next interesting part, my favorite. You can use this to denoise, like you go to motion effects, like three, then denoise, deselect this and pull it. So I just denoised the image. I just denoised the image. So if you notice on the background, you see some of these things looking like as if it's not natural. Just take a look at it. So what you're going to do is we're going to reduce this to blend it in. Blend it in and still go to hue. I want to step down the background, like I really want to step it down. I don't want the background to overshadow the image. So something like this. So something like this. So you can see the before and after. Tell me on the comment section the one you prefer. Okay, before I commence, I'm going to play something for you guys. I'm going to play something for you guys. I want to play a beautiful job that I did. So that you can like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. So if you look at the background, you notice if I play the before, let me play the before and after so that you see that the exact separation I'm doing on this recent grade is just like it's the same thing. You can also apply that on your grading and you get the same results. Can you see the color of the background? The color is a kind of purple gray if there's, then see the after, see the after. Are you seeing how cinematic this stuff looks like? You can see how cinematic. So let's commence. If I want, I can use another way to change this background. Just watch. I can decide to step it down. I can decide to do something different. So you're free to play around with it. So I can decide to, can you see? But anything you're doing, just try your best so that it will not look artificial. No matter what you're doing, try not to make it look artificial. No matter what you're doing, guys. So this is, then the next thing I'm going to add up is I'll start building my look by going to create another node here. But I have this pattern I use in inserting look. There are many ways though. So let's say I pull this offset. Pull my offset, my highlights, pull it down. Because one thing with highlights, you try to push it to a more natural light, like the source of the light. Then my mid-tone, pull it to the skin, then my shadow, always play. So let's see what we can. So this one of the ways, like you can use to push in your look depending on the look you're going for. Another way is using the inbuilt looks on DaVinci by okay checking out Kodak, any of these Kodak. And one of the best way to do that is use your color space transform. Then this should be like 709. This should be gamma 2.4, and this should be um 709, and this should be Sony S-Log 3. Then insert your look. I'm just checking them out. So you just have to go for what you feel is cool for your tone, skin tone. Then always adjust. Then select compound mode. You're not going to apply it much. So this is our before, and this is our after. Before and after. Then I'm going to be working on, let me work on another dark footage. I'm going to work on another dark footage for you to see how I'm going to grade this dark footage. So still on S-Log 3. S-Log 3. Still on S-Log 3 though. So first of all, let me quickly search for the footage. You know, if you copy, let's say you copy this grade that we did, and you insert it here. Can you see how it's ruined? This is what lots using loot. This is exactly the damage that you get when you depend on loot. This is the damage you get when you depend on loot, because I just copied the color I did and I inserted it on this my grade, and at the end of the day it's not coming out well, simply because it's not the same, lighting, not the same, not just the same color. So all I have to do is, if I want to get something nice and better, I have to grade it separate. I have to grade it separately, like fine tune and bring out the color by myself. So to do that, I have to start from top. Let me show you how you can also adjust some of these things to match this footage. The first thing to do is to off everything. You have to turn everything off, still following same structure. But since our background is dark, this particular footage is not going to be difficult. So as you can see, we just turned everything off. So the first thing to turn on is our CST, which we just converted our image from this to this. Then the second thing to turn on, due to this is a dark image, you see that our contrast, we are still going to adjust it. Like the background is dark. So the first thing to do is adjusting our white balance. We're going to reset it, our white balance. Then as usual, select your window, circle, reduce it. Reduce, then place it on the skin. Make sure it's going well on the skin. Then next thing, on the skin, make sure it's going well. Then go to your highlights. Go to your highlights and just highlight only the skin. Go to your HSL. Are you seeing that these are scope, the skin tone, this information on the skin tone is almost close to this line that represents our skin. So you're going to just use tint to pull to adjust. Then let me slightly adjust it, then remove, then reset. Let me adjust more. Adjust more. We are almost there. Almost there. Let's say 350. So you can see before and after. This was how the footage was before doing the adjustment. And this is the after. This is the after. So the next thing I'm going to touch is this. I'm going to adjust my offset to balance it. Then my gain, adjust the bits, adjust offsets. I see we are getting there. From this to this, we're getting there. We are getting there. We are getting there. Then the next thing to do is our saturation. We're going to reduce it because the previous image is not the same with this. It's not the same thing. So reduce. Then the next thing we're going to look at is our owning our hue. You know, this particular hue versus saturation, we use it to adjust the background, but there's no background, so that means it's useless. We're going to reset it. For this, we're going to just reset everything here because they are not the same background. Everything, including this, because this is the best way you copy and paste. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to work on the whites. So like this is much easier because we are not dealing with any background, just black. So you're going to just select just the white, just the white. Just the white. So when you face situation like this, what you need to do is just play through and see whether she made any movements. Then select the whites. We have to use our window 2 to draw. Just for the white to avoid the skin. Then when you make this selection, you need to blur the edge. You need to blur the edge by blurring the inside and more of the outside. Then remove the highlights. Let's pull. Change. Balancing. Then also remember to track in case of movement. In case of movement. Also track for movement's sake. Then next thing, you go to the next thing. We're going to select the face. Just the face. The face alone. So nice. So we're still going to make selection to just select just the face side. Then track. So let's adjust just increase blur. Then For the face, we're going to reduce saturation. Then let me adjust. I want to adjust the temperature. So this for the face. Something like this. So before and after. Before, after, for the face. Then, if you notice something, we would want to retain this warm color on the other subjects. So for that, we have to cage this. Then track it. Allow it to track. Then we can now work on the other person by making a selection, highlighting just him. Then use HSL to guide us, then adjust it well. Adjust. adjust our selection. Then track. Check my back, shine touch whether it gets easy. Sorry, I was just trying to confirm something, guys. So you kind of make the selection. If you notice, this skin is there's a lot of magenta on it, so we are going to change it, like adjust by pulling from this to this. I think that is gone. Can you see before and after? Just remove the magenta. So we can now introduce our next, which is this. So this is it. We are clean, bro. We are clean. This is it. Before, after. We are clean, bro. This is it. We are clean, bro. This is it. We clean. We clean. We clean. So let me also create another footage. From this, so that the reason why I'm grading different footages is so that when you face different challenges, you know how to tackle them. Because you may come across a footage that is dark, overexposed. You may come across a footage that is underexposed. You may not even know where to start. Let me even try some of my look that I created. Some of my look under selected films. It's almost the same thing with this. I have different looks. You can see. Just that you're going to be adjusting them depending on the look you're going for. But it all depends on the look you are going for. So that's by the way. Still one of my favorites scene. This I just love the way the highlights is coming from the curtain. This is the before after. So let's create magic. So first of all, create a node, add another node. Then remember CST, then Sony, Sony, then red 7, gamma. So what we just did, we just converted it from red 709 from S-Log3 to red 709. So next thing to do is your contrast. Add up your contrast. Remember what I told you about parent. Why this particular one? Just look at the information. So your contrast, then let's use this to fix. We should do it on not log width but color width. So You're getting there. You're getting there. You're getting there. So the next thing you should be looking at is white balance. So we're going to still use our window. Look for the skin tone. One thing with colors is the more you create, the more you understand. Like it's something that has to do with training your eye. The more you go, the more you understand when colors are not representing what they should represent. So you're just then restart. Mhm. We are getting there. We're getting there. We are getting there. So the next thing is create another node. Create another node. Create a parallel node. Add layer. Add layer. Then we can start our separation by selecting the curtain. Then blur. The noise. Then deselect. You can decide to reduce the saturation if you want. can also decide to increase, but in this case I'm going to make it a bit visible. A bit visible. Then I'll be working on the whites in general because so something like this you can see for the white. Something like that. I want to see how I can work on just our own whites. So I have to select just our whites. Then track. Then allow it track. Save it. Allow it track. This tracking part is very important because if it doesn't track well, it may not kind of give you that accurate separation for the white when she's moving. It may not be stable. So this, because of our hand, I'm going to extend it. So let's adjust the white. Let's hit highlight. What you're trying to do, you're trying to balance the white. Pull your edges, the noise. Then you can talk of their skin tone. Adjust. Adjust. The noise. Low. Good lock. Use this contrast. Let's give them small shadow, just small. So something like this. So if you want to go further, you can still separate. Can you see? This is Then we can now introduce our loop. Our look. So can still reduce it to blend it in. So this is before and after. Can still adjust the background. So as you can see, this should be how you get your S-Log 3 graded. This is how you get your S-Log 3 graded. And you just have to dedicate your time so that you'll be able to get the best. And the best comes with a price. You can't just get the best anywhere. The best has a price. So that is it. I'm also going to show you some of my favorite footage in this movie and explain to you some of the trick I pulled in to achieve that. Some of the tricks I pulled in for me to be able to achieve it. So I just love the colors. Yeah, I love the colors here. I love the colors here. This is Sean George. I'm just trying to scroll in order to get some of these beautiful shirts. That I was talking about. So what happened here was, this is the before and after. You can see the separation on the skin and the background. You can see the skin color. You can see the you can see the background, and you can see that the skin tone is representing, like the skin is skinny. And how I put through to get this kind of skin is, your lighting matters. You need to light well, even in these dark spots. as you can see, the first thing you need to put in check it should be your skin tone, which your light is the most important thing that can boost your skin tone. So for me, I always advise that you use good lighting. Most times, one of the challenges we have in filmmaking is that most people would want to just like do everything by themselves, brother. Calm down. One person wants to grade, just one person wants to grade. One person wants to do lighting. One person wants to do cinematography, and one person wants to direct. Not like as if it's a short film or a small project, like feature film. Ah, I will be calm down. It's not done like that. So how I achieved it was at least good lighting. If you can balance your lighting, it will come out well. You can see the second person, his skin tone. So for you to be a good colorist, you need to know how to balance skin tone. Very important. Very important. And I'm going to show you what LUT does to your image. Let me just show you what the difference between using LUT, because so many of you would want to maybe do things like the shortcut way now, as usual. But what you don't understand is there's no greatness in using shortcuts in grading. There's nothing like working smart. There's nothing like working smart. So let's take for example for this, and let's take for example for this, let's say you bought a lot. You bought a lot outside, and you were on the other hand, you were like, okay, it's going to make my work easier. So just compare. It's going to make my work easier. And let's say this is the lot. This is the lot. And you start applying them, like trying to check the one that will come out, that is going to come out well. And after much application, you now finally made up your mind going for, let's say, this or this or even this or this. At the end of the day, you even become confused. You now decided to settle for this. So, can you compare this? Imagine, I did this with Lot, with this. Can you see the difference? Can you? Can you see the difference? Or let's say this now. You're like, okay, let me use the same lot. Okay, just imagine what this lot did to this image. So can you compare this with this? You can't compare. You cannot compare, not at all. You cannot. So, this is why I tell people, stop using lots, Jerry. Stop using lots. Like, if you want to grade, make sure you understand grading before you venture into it. Make sure you also understand grading before you try to consider going into it. You mustn't just jump into grading and rush. Calm down. Learn. Sometimes you learn and you unlearn. Sometimes you have to learn new things and unlearn the past one, because as we go, we advance. New things are introduced, and you don't have a choice, because if you slack behind, you'll be left behind. If you slack behind, you'll be left behind. So you just have to keep pushing. Just have to keep pushing, like keep pushing. So, and you can also hit me up if you want me to grade for you. Like I do that. You can visit my Instagram page at you see it on my description. Cinetic Films. Cinetic then underscore films. The films is Z. Then visit me on my IG if you want me to grade for you. I'm open for that. So in addition, I'll be giving you like some few tips on how you're going to sketch through when you're planning a project. So first of all, when you're planning any projects, I'm talking based on the color. When you're planning any project, try to like visit the location and because most people will be like, since I'm the colorist, is there any need for me to be there? Yes, there's need. There's need. There's need for you to be there. You just have to visit. The essence of visiting is so that you won't end up stressing yourself because of one kind of error they did. One kind of error they did, and you now be the one suffering it. So that's why you should visit the location, then see what you're doing, and you learn. So that is just it. So I'll be ending here. So thank you guys for joining and thank you for staying up to this time, and I want to appreciate you guys for staying up to this time, and you can type on the comment section based on the tutorial you want me to do next, and if I can get 200 200,000 views on this, I'm going to do giveaway. Like I'm going to do a giveaway. I'll be doing a giveaway. So thank you guys, and please subscribe, like, comment, and turn on your notification. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.